ABC's own Jonathan Karl was out in Waterloo, Iowa this weekend, catching up with Michele Bachmann, and she had some very interesting things to say, both about Chris Wallace flake comment, as well as her own intentions as a presidential candidate. Let's take a look.
So this was interesting. We got to meet your family, really,
yes.
for the first time for a lot of us. Are we going to be seeing more of them on the trail? We met your husband Marcus, for your kids, your mom.
Yes.
Are we going to see them out campaigning with you?
Well, I think probably so. You know, my mother is originally from Iowa. She was born in Mason City. I was born in Waterloo. I know she would love to come on the campaign trail. My husband will be with me and the kids as they can. So we're really looking forward to a family affair.
So you've also talked a lot about how you've had 23 foster kids.
That's right.
What about them? Will we see them? We're going to get to meet any of your foster
They're
children?
great kids, but you know, one thing that we've always done is observe their privacy.
Right.
And because it isn't just about them, it's about their families and their extended family. And so we've always observed their privacy, and we intend to do that through the campaign.
And it's hard for some people to think, you mentioned 23 foster kids, 5 children. You know,
we didn't have them all.
Not all at once,
no,
I would imagine,
not all
right?
at once.
But it must have been a pretty.
We had 5 biological children,
right?
And then we had as many as 4 foster children at a time.
At a time.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty busy household.
It was a very busy house. We got to the point where we didn't have enough places at the table anymore, and so we had to do an expansion on the kitchen so we could get a bigger table, and it was all worth it.
Yeah. So you are somebody who talks a lot about your faith. Obviously, faith is very important to you. Can you give me some insight into how your relationship with God got you to this decision that you're going to announce running for president?
Well, you know, when I grew up, that was just a normal part of life. We would say prayers before we ate and say prayers before we went to bed, and my parents made sure we went to church on Sunday morning, and we went to the same church as our grandparents, and it was just a very normal part of life. And now I'm running for the presidency of the United States, and so what I'm focused on right now is making sure I can turn around the country and get some job creation, because that's what I am. I'm a businesswoman and a job creator. It's really the common sense here that I learned in Waterloo. We were very people of modest means. We didn't have a lot of money when I was growing up, but you know, we didn't care. One thing we didn't do, we didn't spend more money than we had, and we were Democrats when I was growing up. Our family was Democrats. I had one Republican grandmother, but we were reasonable, fair-minded people, just like all of our neighbors.
You probably saw, it wasn't that long ago, Mike Murphy, a Republican consultant, said that you have a better chance of landing on Jupiter than of becoming president. I mean,
I must have missed that. I never heard that.
Now you're here. You're tied for the lead in Iowa. I mean, do you see this happening?
Sure, I see it happening. Absolutely, I see it happening. My husband and I spent a long time considering this, and our advisors and our people that we were working with. Whatever we do, we want to succeed. We don't want to fail. And so we put this together, this plan. Now we're starting to work the plan, and we're very grateful with what we're seeing. We don't take it for granted. I've been to Iowa a number of times. I have an advantage being born here and growing up here and having a lot of family here.
You're going to be able to appeal to moderates or even Democrats?
Oh,
I mean,
of course.
if you're going to win, you
I don't know
have to...
why not. I grew up a Democrat. I worked on Jimmy Carter's campaign.
But you're seen as somebody that's very conservative.
I'm a conservative, and I'm proud to be a conservative, but I think the new movement that we're seeing across the United States really is way beyond partisanship. It's disaffected Democrats, independents, people who aren't political, Republicans. It's libertarians. It's a wide swath of Americans that are saying our country's on the wrong track. And people are seeing me as a unifying person who can bring the country together and turn the country around for good in 2012. That's what I intend to do. I know you may not see it, Karl, but this is a titanium spine back here.
Titanium spine.
I have a titanium spine, and I will stand strong for those values that I learned here in Iowa, and I'm going to take that voice to the White House.
You saw Tim Pawlenty had a great opportunity to take on Mitt Romney on the health care issue, and he let it pass by. So with your titanium spine, would you have done that? And what would you say about Romneycare? What is your position on what is known as Romneycare?
Well, just this last week, an issue came up with the pledge that Susan B. Anthony list put forward. And I signed that pledge, and I called on all Republican candidates to sign that pledge. I think it's very important that they do. Our party has a pro-life plank. I think it's a very important issue that people care about, and I think the candidates should sign that.
What about Romney on health care, though? That's what I was asking about.
Well, on health care, my position is very well known. I oppose Obamacare, and I think whether it's at the state level or at the federal level, where as a condition of citizenship, a person is forced to buy a health insurance policy, even if they don't want it, even if they can't afford it, government says, too bad, we're setting the price in effect, and you're going to have to buy it. That's wrong. That's unconstitutional.
And that's what Mitt Romney did in Massachusetts.
That's wrong at the state level, every bit as much as it is at the federal level.
And I want to ask you, Chris Wallace asked you if you were a flake, then came out and apologized for that question. Do you accept his apology?
Well, I think that it's insulting to insinuate that a candidate for the president is less than serious. I'm a very serious individual. I have a very strong background, a strong resume. I have a law degree and I have a postdoctorate degree from William & Mary in tax law. I'm very proud of the work that I've done scholarly, but also in the United States Tax Court with civil and criminal tax cases. I'm really proud of the fact that we have started a successful company. We turn a profit. We need to do a lot more of that in this country. And I'm also proud of the education reform movement that I led in Minnesota, which we need to take, by the way, to the federal government. I'm proud of all of that. I'm a very serious person, a serious candidate, and my whole focus is on solutions to turn the country around. That's what I'm focused on.
But do you accept his apology? He apologized to you?
Those are the small issues. I'm focused on the big ones.
But
thank you. Thank you.
All right.
You know the interview's over when the staffer jumps in and pulls the candidate out. That was Michele Bachmann. And for more of Michele Bachmann, tune into GMA tomorrow. She will sit down for an interview right after she is announced as her campaign today.